Well, now, to help us take a look at small caps, we're joined by a face that we haven't seen in a very long time. Keith McLachlan, Fund Manager at Alpha Wealth. One word, by the way. Keith, good to have you with us.
Good, very good to be back.
It's been a while and a lot has happened, no doubt.
Absolutely.
We often get interesting emails and calls. Shareholders were concerned about one particular stock, small cap that comes to mind, and that's Ellie's. The share price has taken a significant knock following the directors also moving out of their shareholdings there.
Let's focus less on the director dealings, focus a little bit more on the fundamentals. And of course, guys worried about a lot of trading updates coming out, and profits have been versus the prior year have been a bit in decline. But of course, the prior year includes Eskom's residential mass rollout, which is really a once-off project, and it was their electrical consumer goods and services segment, and that created a very high base. But let me phrase it this way. What I'm expecting in the next 2 weeks, because of course the financial year end is April, what I'm expecting in the next 2 weeks is a trading update to indicate the profits are down roughly 30%. Sure. Now, it could be worse than that, or it could be better than that. Assuming I'm correct in my forecasts, which I'm sticking my head out and saying, but it could be worse than that, so that's the disclaimer. On a 30% down, you're still looking at earnings of roughly 50%. Oh, 50 cents per share, which on a below 4 Rand per share price is single-digit price earnings. So I mean, you're sitting in a market with guys like African Bank that are fighting for survival, and their shares are getting sold off heavily. You're looking at a lot of complications. Eddie's sell-off is not a question about the company going out of business. It's more a question of the valuation of the company and coming off a very high base. Where's it going to end?
So it's returning to normal levels now, so to speak.
Well, I think this sort of business on single-digit price earnings is reasonably cheap, given particularly its blue sky positioning. You know, it's dominant in certain sectors. It's got the scale that some competitors in these sectors don't have. So single-digit price earnings, in my mind, is quite attractive. But you know, that's really for the market to decide. At this point, it's just kind of over the last 6 months, a year, it's been a worry concerning about where this profit's going in the next year. That said, if you're buying a company for 1 year time horizon, no, you're trading it, you're not investing it. And that isn't the way to approach this part of the market.
So maybe for investors, this is a buying opportunity?
Well, I like to think. I mean, personally, I've been buying some.
Well, R3.85 is the last price I checked today at midday, so maybe it is one that we'll follow up on. But an interesting new listing in the healthcare sector, Advanced Healthcare. That stock listed and kept climbing and climbing and climbing, and then something happened.
Well, we at Alpha Wealth actually got into Advanced Healthcare listing. We particularly liked it at 1 Rand. You know, spent a lot of time on management research the sector, and our feeling was, particularly if you look at the range of fair values for it, and there's a lot of DCF inputs, there's a lot of assumptions, so you can do a massive sensitivity analysis, and at the end of the day, a valuation is not a science, it's an opinion. But we felt it was on the low end, it was very comfortably worth R1.40. And you've seen the share price, you know, kind of list roundabout there. So we were on the mark. Then ramp all the way up to 320. I think that was the high, and it's trading at about 230 to 220 at this point. What's interesting is if you play with the assumptions, now our base case was a fair value of about 140. If you look in a best case scenario, the fair value is about 240 according to my model. So what's happening is the market's pricing it for best case scenario. The problem is the capital raised and all their plans to roll it out, building day hospitals, the market is leaving no room for execution failure or any risk involved with that. Basically, if Advanced Healthcare executes this perfectly to the T, just according to my view of the value and the models we built and looked at and our understanding of the industry, it's fairly valued. One mistake anywhere down the line, and it could be hugely overvalued.
Gosh, well, we certainly hope not. Hopefully management is watching this and making sure that things go according to the T. But looking at Invicta, they had their results out earlier on this week, if I'm not mistaken. How are they faring?
Well, they're obviously in a tough spot in the market. I mean, you're selling consumables into industrial, agricultural and mining, and you're selling essentially CapEx in there. Of course, they've got a very good track record. They've got strong agency agreements with excellent brands and, of course, an excellent range of customers and a recent diversification off into Asia. You know, all work in synergy. So you saw revenue up a little bit, profits up on a normalized basis. So you strip out all the funnies and the like, on a normalized basis is up 15%, which is smack on with where it should be. Now that's a fantastic set of results given the circumstances, but for Invicta it's fairly average. management has a target of growing normalized earnings per share on a real basis of 10%. So if you assume inflation of 5%, that's 15%. That's exactly what they did this year. So they're right on target, albeit the industries they're operating in aren't exactly getting easier to operate in.
Clearly they must be doing something right then, huh? We need to touch base with them, quite clearly.
Some smart acquisitions, I suspect.
Indeed. Keith, unfortunately we have run out of time, but always a pleasure to have you back, and don't disappear again.
Gugu, it's great to be back. Thank you very much.
Likewise. Thanks so much, Keith. That was Keith McLachlan. He's a fund manager at Alpha Wealth. That's one word, by the way.